Hi, Mel. Can you see us?
Yes, can you see me? I'm sorry, I just had to pick up my kids.
Oh. No, you're fine.
You're fine. I'm Detective Minter. This is Detective Gonzalez.
Hey guys.
Very, very nice to meet you.
Likewise.
So, go ahead.
Give me 1 sec. I need to give my daughter a direction here.
Okay.
On top of the refrigerator. Have Axel get it down. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
That's where the snacks are.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and state your name and what you do and where you work.
Heather Marshall Vasquez, MD. I am an emergency physician. My full-time employment job is through Holy Cross Medical Center in Taos, New Mexico, where I'm the medical director. And then I work as an independent contractor for Artesia General Hospital. I work sort of 2 to 4 shifts a month down there.
Okay. Okay.
So for January 27th of this year, you came into contact with Alexee Trevizo. Can you tell us what happened on that day? Just from the beginning of everything that happened.
Yes, she presented, I want to say it was around 11:30 at night. I don't have the chart in front of me, so there's some details I'm going to have to sort of guesstimate from my recollection. Her main complaint was for back pain. She was brought in by her mother. We were told that she began having back pain after coming home from cheerleading practice. Sounds like she had gone to bed and then woken her mother up. And so her mother brought her in. And when I initially evaluated her, she really wouldn't sit still. She wouldn't really let me examine her. She had on a very baggy sweatshirt. And, a 19-year-old with back pain, the vast majority of the time, that's not going to be anything serious. But she was just not really acting right. And so I became concerned that there was something else going on, potentially a kidney stone or something like that. I asked the patient and her mother if she could be pregnant. Her mother said, no, under no circumstances. I've been buying pads for her every month. And so I ordered our normal evaluation, which would be some basic labs, including a pregnancy test, as well as a CAT scan of the abdomen and pelvis to make sure she didn't have a kidney stone or something like that. The pregnancy test came back positive an hour late, maybe 45 minutes later. I can't tell you exactly how much time had elapsed when I became aware that her test was positive. So at that point, we sent it for a blood confirmatory test, which is what we call a quantitative HCG, which tells us it gives us a number instead of just a positive or negative for pregnancy test. It gives us a number, and the reason why that number was really significant was because one of the concerns that you would always have in a young woman who is having back or abdominal pain could be a tubal pregnancy, and so oftentimes we need to correlate the level, the pregnancy hormone level, to determine if it's likely that there could be a tubal pregnancy. There's no obstetrics or gynecology at Artesia General, and so it would require transferring her. I also verified at that time that we didn't really have the right kind. The ER has an ultrasound machine, but it didn't have the right probe on there. It had what we call the vascular probe, not the endovaginal or the abdominal one, which would be the ways we would look to see if there was a tubal pregnancy or a viable pregnancy. So I was going to have to call the ultrasound tech in. And so it was taking the lab a little bit longer than I would have thought to give us the actual quantitative HCG level. And so at that point, I started getting very nervous because I figured, well, maybe it's a really high number, maybe they had to dilute it down. And I wanted to check on the patient, and I asked the nurse where the patient was, and he said, well, she's in the bathroom. And I said, oh my goodness, how long has she been in there? And she'd been in there for like 20 minutes. And so at that point, I became very concerned. And I said, you need to get her out of there right now. So it took a while for them to find a key. The nurse was knocking on the door, and we heard the toilet flush several times. And so at that point, finally, the door opened, and there was just blood everywhere. And so even though we didn't have the right probe for the ultrasound machine, I felt like I'm just going to look, because I had already called the tech in, but the tech wasn't there yet. So I took her directly to the room and did a ultrasound. I couldn't see anything. Again, it was the wrong probe. It's not the right probe to even. I don't even know if you could see any. Like it's the kind of probe that we use to put like special IVs in the neck. Mm. So it wasn't the right kind of probe. But she was bleeding a lot, and so we went directly from doing the ultrasound, and again, I was waiting for the tech to come in, to doing a pelvic exam, and it probably took me 10 or 15 minutes to, when I did the pelvic exam, her cervix, the opening to the uterus was just wide open, and there was just blood pouring out, and I was really mystified as to what could be happening, because I thought, well, maybe she's having a miscarriage. It probably took me 10 or 15 minutes to evacuate all the blood. And just as I was finishing with that exam, the charge nurse came into the ER and said, I need you out here right now. And I walked out into the main department. The nurse was still a different nurse was still in the room with the patient, trying to get her, clean her up after the exam. And the charge nurse said, the housekeeper and the secretary found a dead baby in the trash can. And so I said, well, where? Because now I needed to verify if the child was alive. So they brought me the trash can. I ran into the trauma 2 room, the resuscitation room, and dumped it out. And it did not take me very long to determine that the child was dead. And I made the decision to not attempt resuscitation. Really, the temperature was cool, and I also did not want to contaminate if it was a crime scene. So at that point, then my attention shifted to making sure that the mother was stabilized, because I realized she just delivered a baby. I didn't know where the placenta was. She could die from a postpartum hemorrhage. So I contacted the on-call obstetrician at Loveless Regional in Roswell and said, I need to transfer this patient to you emergently. They said, yep, just send her up. I think the fire department just took her up right away. But before we transferred her, I talked to my team. I said, look, we're not going to talk to her until we have police present. I want witnesses present for our discussion with her. At that point, several of your officers arrived. They arrived very quickly. And we went in and I said, we found a dead baby in the trash. And she said, well, it came out of me and it wasn't moving, so I just put it in the trash. And the mother started screaming at her, I knew it, I knew it, I knew it. This is after they had both sworn up and down that there was no chance she could be pregnant. And so at that point, once we got her transferred, and I believe that the officers called for, I'm not sure what steps they did, but we made sure we didn't touch the dead baby. We didn't do anything because we did not want to contaminate the crime scene. And that's been documented, and that's it.
What was the baby in the trash can?
I did not find it. It was my secretary, who you should speak to. She told me a few weeks later that she was the one. But I was told it was in a plastic bag that was tied off and then stuck into a plastic bag, and then she put trash on the top to try to hide it.
Okay. So he was out.
That was what was told to me.
But he was outside the bag when you saw him.
Yes, they had opened the bag up, and I took the trash can, I just turned it upside down and dumped everything on the bed.
Okay. And you didn't see any trauma or anything to the baby, or?
I don't have a very good recollection of that. My brain was 100% focused on, is this a patient I should try to resuscitate? And once I made the determination not to resuscitate, all of my attention turned to making sure that the mother didn't die.
Okay.
So did any of the nursing staff find the placenta at the emergency room?
No.
No? Okay.
I have no idea what happened with the placenta.
She didn't deliver it at Loveless either.
She probably put it in the toilet, would be my guess.
And would that have been something that was able to be flushed?
It depends on how broken up it was. I mean, if it's torn, it potentially could have been flushable. Or it's possible the housekeeper could have thrown it away without thinking it was just bloody, because there was blood everywhere in the bathroom.
Really? And did she say anything other than after you told her that you found a deceased baby? Did she say anything?
Just that it wasn't moving, so she put it in the trash.
Okay. And mom screaming, I knew it. Okay.
It was a really unpleasant experience.
I'm sorry for that. I really am.
Is there anything you think we should know that we haven't asked?
No, I mean, you have autopsy results and you can, obviously make your decisions based on that. She was extremely duplicitous. She lied to us the entire time. It was it was an extraordinarily difficult case. The nursing staff were distraught. The housekeeper was distraught. I don't even know what to say. I mean, it's been a terrible case.
Yes, ma'am. One of the worst I've seen in my career.
I've been an emergency doctor for 20 years. I've actually never seen anything like this.
What was the lady's name that found the baby that was when it was tied up in the bag?
That was our secretary, Lori, Lori, and I can't remember her last.
Okay.
But
I have her
Dr.
info. I talked to her.
Oh, you already talked to her. Okay. Okay. All right. I don't have anything yet.
Yeah, I don't have any other questions.
All right, Doc. I appreciate your time and what you do. And if we have any other questions, would you mind talking to us again?
No, not at all. And of course, I'm prepared to testify if I have to.
Yeah, that's probably going to happen. So, okay. And
Just the only thing I ask is please help me prepare for it if I have to do that.
yes, ma'am. Yes, of course. With cases like this, they're called pre-trial interviews.
Okay.
So you'll be prepped. Everybody in this case will be prepped prior to trial.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
officers, I don't envy what you're having to do, and I know it must have been a difficult decision, but I think your courage is thank you for doing what's right. Neither the mother of the patient nor the patient even asked what the gender of the baby was. I don't even know what to say.
Nor do I, ma'am. Nor do I. Okay.
Well, just know my prayers are with you guys as you sort of sort through this. So.
You as well, ma'am, and have a good rest of your weekend, okay?
Okay, we'll do. Thanks,
All right.
sir.
Bye now.
Bye.